Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Not Your Average Josh back here for another movie review, and today I'm here to review the movie Chevalier, directed by Stephen Williams and written by Stefani Robinson. But before I get into my movie review, I do want to say if you're watching this, hit that like button if you do enjoy this video, and also leave a comment if you have any thoughts on this video or anything else. Also, hit that subscribe button if this is your first time watching any of my videos. Also, if you're a returning viewer as well, any support for this channel is very much appreciated. You can also follow me on TikTok and add me on Snapchat, where I will post content similar to this, but for the most part, my content will be here on this YouTube channel, Not Your Average Josh. But let's get into this review of Chevalier. Chevalier is based on the true story of the composer Joseph Bellone, Chevalier de Saint George, the illegitimate son of an African-American slave and a French plantation owner. He rises to heights in French society as a composer before an ill-fated love affair. Now, I've been seeing trailers for this movie for a few months now. It's also something that I was not familiar with really at all, even really this time period around the French Revolution. Obviously, I remember some of the things I learned in school, but I am not that well versed on it like other parts of history. So it was something that I was very interested in going into it. And I can say I did enjoy myself overall with this movie. There are some things that they could have done better, some directions I thought in the story that they maybe shouldn't have taken or maybe shouldn't have taken such a hard turn towards. But overall, I did have a good time with this, and it really starts with the performance of Kelvin Harrison Jr. here as Joseph Bellone, or Chevalier, as they call him for most of this movie. And you really get a great introduction into his character the first about 10 minutes of this movie. You have almost this sort of Rock of the Band style music battle take place with your character Chevalier here and Mozart, the person who plays Mozart, Joseph Prowen, who I thought did a really good job of playing almost a comedic level. The way he was playing his instrument, really the movie starts with Mozart playing to this whole entire crowd, and this version of Mozart, I'm not sure, again, I don't know too much about the real Mozart, if he was really arrogant or anything, but this version definitely plays to an arrogant level, and you have Chevalier come forward and basically challenge him, and they have this really just cool looking violin off, if you will. It was just really entertaining and a cool way to get introduced to his character. And overall, I thought Kelvin did a really good job playing Chevalier. The journey he goes on, I definitely have my questions and trepidations with, but overall his performance, you really saw some great emotion in there. They really get into a kind of a deep level with his character here. He is, as I mentioned in the description, he was born basically an illegitimate son. His dad was the French plantation owner, and then his mom being an African slave. And because, of course, you know, of the times, the horrible times of everything, there was this embarrassment. And so basically the dad drops him off at this random school. And the only reason why the school would take him in is because he was already really talented at playing the instrument. Already has this kind of sad, dark backstory and this chip on his shoulder that he has to live with in order to become what he becomes. You really see that manifest here, where most of the movie is really showing him in his adult life here, and they flash back a few times to certain moments, certain seeds that were planted to create the person that he is now. At this point, living in Paris, becoming very well acquainted with Marie Antoinette, who is played pretty well by Lucy Boynton. Another person, Marie Antoinette, who I don't know too much about. I'm gonna be honest, from school, I don't remember a lot of what I learned with that, if I'm being completely honest. But her character does take a turn in this movie that I didn't quite expect. Maybe if I knew more about her character in history, I would maybe have expected it more. She really kind of has this turn on our protagonist here, Chevalier, which I thought was very interesting here. And then you also have this love interest, this relationship that takes place that really pretty much envelops most of the second act of this movie, played, I thought, really well by Samara Weaving. Marie Josephine, who is already married to another man who is pretty high up in society here, and she's a white woman, so they really play on that here with obviously, you know, Chevalier already being an illegitimate son. Of course, people looking down on him just because of his skin color, unfortunately, because of the times. A lot of the movie ends up being about, again, the second act here, a lot of their relationship here and trying to make it work and, you know, keep it hidden and secret. I guess what the main plot of this movie is Chevalier is competing with this other person to try and put an opera, to create an opera. He is really director of this, compete with this other man for it, and then Samara Weaving ends up being involved in this opera, being basically the lead of this. They're trying to navigate and keep secret their love within all of this, and I will say, in terms of the whole relationship, the love interest there, that was definitely the least interested I was in this movie when I was watching it. I was pretty lukewarm on it all. Not that I didn't buy them as being in love or anything, but I was actually more interested in what was going on with the other story points in this movie. They just leaned into it a little too much. I just wasn't that interested in it, really. I really spent a lot of time on that in this, and I thought it was, for the most part, pretty engaging. I was never really bored with this movie. Kelvin Harrison Jr. does just a really good job in his performance here, showing some different levels of emotion. They do have this really nice moment when his mom actually has a chance. She gets freed and is able to come back and see her son, finally. Chevalier is very much has this a lot of just inner feelings about how he should feel about his mom being here. He has this kind of a natural resentment that you would expect growing up, basically having to always live by himself, always just having to work harder than pretty much everyone else just to make it to where he is, not only in music, but just in his part in society. And you see just different moments where he's just kind of rubbed the wrong way, not really building a relationship with his mom. She's just kind of there hanging out at the place that he's at. He's in a very nice place living because of where he's gotten to, and he just is very much not really talking to her too much, and it just has this, again, this resentment that is definitely not really warranted. He wishes that he could have obviously been with his mom from the beginning, and luckily that does get worked out, and there's a really nice emotional payoff that happens within that. So I thought that relationship was fleshed out pretty well, actually, a little more than I maybe would have even thought. Because they focused so long on this love interest relationship, where is it going to go? Are they going to end up together in this? They do rush the end of this movie, I feel like, in terms of a lot of things go into motion really fast that lead right into the end of the movie with Chevalier basically joining the French Revolution. And I thought they could have let that be more of a slow burn, or more of a lead up, I guess. It just felt like it was very fast and very abrupt, like, oh, okay, yeah, I guess this is why he's going to go fight in the French Revolution now. And pretty much how the movie ends, they don't really get into the French Revolution part of this. It's really more of the lead up. They do have a nice sense, I think, of an environment in this movie, in terms of there's constantly a Chevalier, whatever's going on in his personal life. There will be moments where he wakes up in the middle of the night and he looks out in the street and there's this civil unrest going on. So they really do play into that. It doesn't feel abrupt in that way. But I just thought the fact of Chevalier being involved in the French Revolution, you understand how he got there, with everything going on for Marie Antoinette and just the people of the town starting to almost revolt against her. It just felt on a personal level like it was just it was really pushed upon the audience. And then at the end of this movie, there wasn't enough of a buy-in where I'm like, okay, yeah, definitely should go fight for the French Revolution now. Like, I understood it, but I didn't quite have that full buy-in that I might have wanted as far as that goes. But really, that's kind of my main thoughts on this movie, my main general thoughts. I thought it was a good movie. There was nothing bad about this movie. Nothing necessarily too exceptional. It's probably going to be a movie that's not going to make too much at the box office. I think people that do end up watching this will probably be pleasantly surprised, I think, for the most part. The performances overall were very well done, fine for the most part. Obviously, as I mentioned, Kelvin Harrison Jr. being, I think, the best in this movie. But I'm going to give Chevalier a 6.5 out of 10. It was a fine movie, nice runtime, didn't overstay its welcome. I thought it was just one that I'm not necessarily going to be guaranteed to go and see again when it comes out on streaming, but I did have a good time with it. But what do you guys think? Have you seen this movie? Have you not even heard about it? Do you care to see it? And if you have, what are your thoughts? Leave a comment down below. Any support is very much appreciated. You can also hit that like button if you did enjoy this video, and hit that subscribe button if this is your first time watching any of my videos, or if you're a returning viewer as well. You can also follow me on TikTok and add me on Snapchat, where I'll post content similar to this. But for the most part, my content will be here on this YouTube channel, Not Your Average Josh. So again, I appreciate all the support. If you're looking for more videos very soon, I am recording like several videos today. I already have a couple in the back burner. So this week, I'm going to be putting out a lot of videos. If you're looking for very much more, I'll talk to you guys later.